daycare worker in Largo is in jail this morning, accused of attacking a 12-year-old child with autism inside of a group home. Investigators say surveillance video shows Shannon Cooper hitting the nonverbal child and throwing furniture, leaving the child with bruises and scratches.
Some stories are hard to hear. Some are even harder to believe. And some force us to ask uncomfortable questions about who we trust with our most vulnerable children. This is one of those stories. Welcome to the Daycare Lounge, the podcast where we talk about the good, the bad, and definitely the ugly in the daycare industry. Childcare providers are supposed to be the people we trust most with our children. We hand over our babies, our toddlers, our most vulnerable little humans, believing they'll be protected, nurtured, and cared for. But what happens when that trust is shattered, in the worst way possible? While most childcare providers are dedicated, professional, and loving, some stories make headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Daycare Lounge explores those shocking cases of alleged neglect and mistreatment, sparking necessary conversations about accountability, safety, and improvement in childcare. Real stories, honest discussions, advocating for the well-being of every child. This podcast is here to inform, inspire, and remind us why quality childcare matters. Tune in and join the conversation. Let's get into it. But first, a reminder. The Daycare Lounge isn't just about sharing stories. It's about sparking necessary conversations on accountability, safety, and the real issues in the daycare industry. Before we dive in, let's be clear. Not all daycare providers are bad. There are plenty of amazing, loving, and responsible caregivers out there. But as we've seen, there are also some stories that make you wonder what's really going on behind those doors. Today's episode takes us to Largo, Florida, in Pinellas County, where shocking surveillance footage sparked an investigation and the arrest of a caregiver at a group home. This case raises serious questions about the safety standards for our most vulnerable children. Before we dig in, a quick disclaimer. All alleged actions and individuals discussed in this episode are considered innocent until proven guilty. The details you're about to hear are based on official reports, public records, and law enforcement statements alleging misconduct. It was the winter holidays, December 21st, 2025. That afternoon, a father arrived at a group home facility in Largo to pick up his 12-year-old nonverbal child with autism. What he saw shocked him. Multiple unexplained injuries, bruises on the neck and arms, and scratches to the face and hands. The child couldn't speak to tell him what happened. Concerned and alarmed, the father did what any parent would do. He contacted law enforcement. Deputies from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Crimes Against Children Unit were called to the scene. Once deputies began their investigation, they reviewed internal surveillance footage from the group home. The video, according to law enforcement reports, depicted devastating scenes involving 38-year-old caregiver Shannon Cooper. Here's what detectives believe the footage showed. Cooper pulling the child around by their collar, physically dominating them. Striking the child multiple times without any identifiable provocation. Straddling the child, forcing her body weight onto them in a way investigators described as excessive. Throwing the child into pieces of furniture. Taking the child into rooms with no camera coverage, where further incidents could not be seen. The extent of what occurred behind those closed doors remains part of the ongoing investigation because no cameras were installed in every area of the home. At this point, investigators noted the victim was nonverbal and unable to report what happened directly, making the video evidence especially critical. Medical evaluations confirmed the victim had bruises on the neck and both arms, scratches on the face and hands. These injuries were significant enough that deputies classified the situation as child abuse, triggering further law enforcement action. The fact that the child was nonverbal and reliant on caregivers for daily care raised alarm bells for investigators, advocates, and families watching the case unfold.
We're told the attack happened on December 21st. They arrested Cooper yesterday, and we're told in addition to the Largo facility, Cooper also works in St. Pete at Retmus Academy of Learning. Now, we did ask them if she's still employed, and for comment on her arrest, I did check. She does remain in the Pinellas County Jail at this hour.
Almost one full month after the initial report on January 21st, 2026, law enforcement took action. Shannon Cooper was arrested and formally charged with child abuse in connection with the December 21st incident. Sheriff's deputies transported her to the Pinellas County Jail, where she was booked on the charges.
All right, you're here on a child abuse. Right now it's zero bond. Can you afford to hire a private lawyer?
No.
All right. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, what can you tell me about Ms. Cooper?
Your Honor, the only prior she has is the 2009 possession of marijuana, adjudication withheld, and then a handful of traffic cases.
All right. All right, I'll make this a $10,000 bond. No contact with the victim, either directly or indirectly in any way whatsoever, okay? Thank you.
Court proceedings and legal filings are still ongoing at this time, and no conviction has been entered. As always, Cooper is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. According to public records, Cooper was not only a group home caregiver, she was also employed by Retmus Academy of Learning in nearby St. Petersburg, Florida. This raises questions about hiring practices and oversight at facilities entrusted with the care of children with disabilities. Parents and disability advocates have expressed deep concern about screening, training, and supervision, especially for individuals working with children who cannot speak for themselves. This case shines a spotlight on systemic concerns. Are group homes equipped with sufficient monitoring systems? Are caregivers properly trained to handle complex behavioral needs with compassion and professionalism? And how do families know their loved ones are safe when they cannot speak for themselves? Advocates for individuals with autism and developmental disabilities argue that when vulnerable people cannot advocate for themselves, it's up to caregivers, regulators, and communities to protect them. This incident has reignited calls for better oversight, more comprehensive surveillance coverage in care facilities, and stricter accountability for staff misconduct. As we wrap this episode, it's impossible not to feel the weight of these events. A caregiver's alleged actions, caught on video, forced a family to question what safe care looks like. It forced authorities to act, and it's forcing all of us in childcare and beyond to look harder at how we protect those who cannot speak up. This is the Daycare Lounge, where we talk about the good, the bad, and definitely the ugly, because accountability, transparency, and awareness help drive real change. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.